Well, the election is right around the corner with early voting set to begin in Ohio on October 6th. But according to the Columbus Dispatch, with a large number of Ohio Democrats seeking absentee ballots, there are concerns that the outcome of the state's presidential race could be, quote, even more unpredictable than usual.
Ooh, let's see about this now and turn to the key battleground state. See how Ohio is preparing for the election, and that influx of absentee ballots is bringing Ohio's chief elections official and Secretary of State Frank LaRose. Sir, thank you so much for being with us. In the last count I saw said you all had received double the number of absentee applications than you did last time around. So getting up close to 2 million. So if you can, give us the update on your numbers and how in the world can you deal with that type of influx?
We sent out to 7.8 million registered voters. Every registered voter in the state received an absentee ballot request form. We want Ohioans to get those back in as soon as they can. And you're right to mention that we have been preparing since the spring to make sure that we're ready for that influx. I've told the boards of elections to be prepared for that number of absentee votes to double. We took over 90% of the federal CARES Act dollars that we received and pushed them right out to the counties so that they could hire extra people, bring in new mail handling equipment and that kind of thing. And the good news, TJ, is this. In Ohio, we've been used to high volumes of absentee voting for a long time. We've had absentee voting in Ohio for close to 20 years. And in a normal election, of course, nothing's normal this year, but in a normal election, between 20 and 25% of those total ballots come in by mail. And so we're going to be ready.
Secretary LaRose, I want to ask you about President Trump. When pressed, he would not commit to a peaceful transition of power if he's not reelected, potentially stoking those fears about mail-in ballots. So you are, as we said, the chief elections official in a state expecting that large number of mail-in ballots. What's your reaction to the president's comments?
Well, my reaction is that here in Ohio, voters know that they can trust the results of the election. And when the final result is tabulated, they will know and have faith that that was the true reflection of the will of the people of Ohio. And by the way, that peaceful transition of power is the hallmark of a functioning democracy. And I have no doubt that, again, when the results are tallied, at least here in the Buckeye State, people will know that it was an honest result.
Do you have enough poll workers?
Not yet, but we're getting there. This has been a priority from the beginning. In fact, long before the pandemic, we launched an initiative to recruit poll workers. We knew that it's always a challenge to recruit poll workers. Of course, that challenge became even more profound at the beginning of this pandemic.
Secretary, as you know, there have been lawsuits there in your state regarding your directive for only one absentee ballot drop box per county. 2 weeks ago, I was talking with Dayton, Ohio Mayor Nan Whaley. She's talking about her efforts to push for more ballot drop boxes in her city. Take a listen to what she had to say.
There are 88 counties in Ohio, and some of them are very small, and some of them, like Dayton's, is the sixth largest in the state, with around over 500,000 people living in this county. Each only get one drop box, according to the Secretary of State. He's trying, I think, to play a line where he pretends to be caring about voters, but at the same time, he is a Republican, and he is showing the partisanness where he is doing less service to those urban areas.
What's your response to Mayor Whaley?
Well, first of all, Nan knows me better than that, and she knows that I'm somebody that takes this work very seriously, and making sure that every voice can be heard in the election is my top priority. But also, as Ohio's chief elections officer, I don't get to make up what the law says. I have to follow the law. Now, here's the good news. In Ohio, every county board of elections has a secured drop box. This is new. This wasn't the case. In fact, this is the first time in a general election in our state's history that every county board of elections has that. But the way that you return absentee ballots and the way that Ohioans have returned absentee ballots for generations is by putting a stamp on it and mailing them in. If you don't want to do it that way, of course, you can drop it off at your county board of elections. That's what the law allows for. As far as the pending litigation, not going to get into that as you know, a pending matter before the court still.
What's the thing that keeps you up at night about the possibility of Ohio being in the middle of something that might just be a mess on election night?
TJ, when I've gotten that question before, I said it was my 3 kids that keep me up at night. But honestly, poll worker recruitment, accurate information, making sure people understand. And TJ, just like you lost a bet and had to wear that Georgia tie, I've got a bet with the Michigan Secretary of State that's all about voter participation, not what happens on the football field, because between Ohio State and Michigan, that's gotten a little bit predictable. And so when Ohio has a higher and Ohio has a higher voter turnout rate, the Michigan Secretary of State will be at the Horseshoe singing the Ohio State fight song and wearing scarlet.
I love how we just brought that full circle. We appreciate it. Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose, thank you so much for your time. We know you're a very busy man. We appreciate you coming on the program.
Thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.